Hello and welcome to this workshop which is called Motivation, Achievement and Challenges. It's really based upon the book that I've written called Motivation, Achievement and Challenges, which is available from Amazon, iTunes and iBooks, and the way I would describe it is it's a practical guide to help you become more motivated and achieve greater success through the kinds of challenges you face in life or new ones that you decide to take on. All three of these factors, motivation, achievement and challenges, are looked at separately and together, so anyone can become more motivated, challenge themselves, then achieve more and lead a happier and healthier life. So then, part one, motivation. What is motivation and why do you want to be motivated? What stops you from being motivated and how do you get more motivated? As well as we'll look at some motivational stories. So then, what is motivation? A formal dictionary definition of motivation is it's a reason or reasons for acting or behaving in a particular way. A psychological definition of motivation is the process that initiates, guides and maintains goal-orientated behaviours. It involves the biological, emotional, social and cognitive forces that activate behaviour. Well, I think from that you can see that actually many different things and factors go in towards making motivation what it is, i.e. what stops you being motivated, all those factors, and then what increases motivation and what makes you motivated. Lots and lots of different factors. But why would you want to be motivated? Now, think about all the different things you could do at work, in your personal life, that if you were more motivated or had that increased motivation, what you could do. You know, why is it important? Okay, hopefully we're going to be able to increase that motivation, or at least get you thinking about the ways in which you can then help yourself to do things that will lead to increased motivation. But what stops you being motivated? There are many reasons, excuses, factors, issues, so we'll just go through some of those. Depression, anxiety and stress. Now they're very common issues which affect many different people, and all of those factors, issues, they can have an effect on motivation. You know, one of the symptoms of depression is a lack of motivation, for example. It could be a general tiredness, lack of energy. So when you're feeling tired, lethargic, it is very difficult to get motivated. Negative people. If you've got people around you that are negative, that why are you doing this, or no, it won't work out, and basically just putting a downer on things, it's obviously makes it more difficult to get motivated. Not feeling appreciated. Now there are obviously reasons why you want to do something, and a lot of the time it's to get something back from that, some sort of reward or recognition or praise, and if basically you're not getting anything back and not feeling appreciated, that's going to push down your motivation. Perhaps it's worrying about the outcome. You know, there might be something you're wanting to do, you're trying to get motivated to do it, but actually you're not sure about the outcome, or will it work out, what's going to happen, and again that can affect your motivation. Thinking about past issues, you may have had bad experiences of similar things, and those bad experiences, those negative outcomes, will cause you to question, is this right, and obviously again reduce your motivation. There is the fear of failing. Going back to the point of the outcome, the fear of failure, very common, but if you're very fearful of what's going to happen, then it's almost certainly going to have an impact on your motivation levels. Not believing in yourself, lacking that confidence, lacking that belief that things are going to be okay and going to work out, that will no doubt decrease your motivation. It could be loneliness. You could be on your own effectively, and by being on your own, it's more difficult to get motivated to do stuff. By having other people around you encouraging, supporting, motivating, that helps. If you're on your own, feeling isolated, lonely, it's more difficult. Perhaps it's a lack of money, whether it's a direct lack of money for what it is you want to do, or a general lack of money which means you've got to focus and concentrate on other different issues. The weather can play a part. For a lot of people, if it's raining, they're going to be less motivated to go out for a walk or a run than if it's a nice, lovely day. If you've got no passion or no interest in the thing you've got to do, so let's say there's something at work, a project that you've got a deadline to meet, but if you don't really buy into it, you're not really passionate about it, then it's going to be much more difficult to get motivated. A lack of time. If you have got something you want to do or need to do and so many other things going on, or it's just not possible to do that, that lack of time can create issues around motivation. It could be kids, your own kids and family, your partner, family life, all the different responsibilities and pressures and expectations, everything that's going on there. That means that you really haven't got the energy, time, motivation to do other things. There's a fear also of what other people are going to think of you. Let's say you decided to do something that you want to do, but other people don't get it, they don't see why you're doing it, and they can be quite negative and demotivating. Your job and your career, thinking about, are you simply doing this because you need the money, or are you doing this because you want to do it, you want to work, you feel up for it, you're passionate about it. Those things where if you spend so much of your time with your job and your career, it's really important to be motivated to do it, and looking at those different factors around how you can become more motivated, because you're then likely to do better at that and other benefits will come from it. There's also the burden of expectation. So let's say you've set yourself certain goals or targets or challenges, and then you've got to live up to those. You've got that burden of expectation, and that can weigh quite heavily upon you. And although hopefully it will inspire and motivate you and give you that focus, it could also go the other way where actually it's demotivating because that burden of expectation is too much. There can be other distractions going on, lack of focus. So you're trying to do something, but other stuff's taking priority, or other things are perhaps more appealing, and that can be demotivating. It could be just feeling you're wasting your time, and why are you doing this? Even if it's something you think could be a good thing, there could be that question mark or that thing hanging over you where it's like, am I really doing this? Why am I doing this? Is it the right thing to be doing? It could be that you're scared. You're scared of what it is you put yourself up for. You're scared of the outcome. You're scared of what's going to happen, and that's again fairly normal. But if the more scared you are, the more likely it is you're going to be demotivated to do it rather than up and motivated. Getting injured or getting ill, that can be really demotivating. Particularly, let's say you set yourself a physical challenge and you get an injury, or you get a cold or flu or something that sets you back. Clearly that's going to be demotivating, because it's going to play on your mind. Are you going to still be able to achieve it? How far does it set you back, etc. So injuries and illnesses can be very big demotivating factors. Other setbacks that you may face along the way. So you've got a goal, you've got a target, you've got a deadline to aim for, and along that process, the likelihood is you'll have setbacks. So they can be derailing, demotivating. So it's how you handle those. There's also it could be a habit. Many humans are quite habitual creatures, and being motivated can become a habit, a good habit. Being demotivated and sort of questioning things and not having that enthusiasm and desire, that can become a habit too. And then there's the spiral of demotivation. So it could be several of those different things will happen or occur or you'll think about, and there's that general spiral of demotivation. So anything negative or demotivating is going to generally create more negative thoughts and behaviours, which will mean more less and less motivation. So then, how do you get motivated? What are the things you can do or look at that can increase that motivation so that you can go on and do things that are going to be beneficial for you? I think it's really important to understand and recognise and remember that your health is the most important thing. People too often put their health as a lower priority until it's too late, or until something, until their health is affected, and then it's like, oh my God, this is, this is actually really, really important. So if you remember that your health is the most important, then how do you improve your health? And that's not just your physical health, it's your emotional health, your mental health, the whole elements of health. And being motivated to do different things that are going to be beneficial for you is a huge part of that. Rewards and recognition. Now, a lot of the things you will do where you need that motivation, you will get rewarded for it. You will get recognised for it and praised, and that's fantastic, that's great. So think about why you're doing something and what are the results, or what are the expected results from that. Getting rewarded in various different ways, getting that recognition, that praise, but also for you having that sense of achievement, feeling proud about it is a great feeling. Having the right people around you, really important. That will help you get motivated. People who are going to encourage you, going to be supportive, are going to want to help you, get involved in whatever it is you want to do. As opposed to the people who aren't interested, don't want to know, don't care, put you down, jealous, etc. So having the right people around you who are going to motivate you, inspire you, and help you on that particular goal you have. Time and deadlines. Personally, in most things, I need a deadline. If it's just at some point in the future, it's kind of, well, I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. If you've got a deadline, it kind of forces you to do it. Therefore, it motivates you to get that work done, or that job done, or that training done, etc. So, if you don't have particular deadlines, set yourself some deadlines and stick with it. It might be that you want to prove something to yourself or others. That can be a really powerful motivating factor. I'm going to prove that I can do this. I'm going to prove someone else wrong. I'm going to prove to this person or that person that this is possible. So whatever it might be, if it's a particular specific thing at work, or if it's a particular physical challenge or goal that you want to achieve, or whatever it might be, if you've got something to prove, that's going to light your fire in that sense and be a big motivating factor. Also, if it is something you're passionate about and that you enjoy, you're going to be more motivated. So if you've got choices in these things, then look to try and get motivated by doing things that you enjoy, you feel passionate about, you've got that interest in, you look forward to it, and that will become much easier to get motivated to do that. Quotes and stories. So reading quotes that are going to be inspiring and motivating, very simple, very effective. Stories about real life inspirations, or a film. There's lots of books and stories and films and stuff out there which are really, really good to get you motivated, to get you inspired, and then you can then go and do your thing. It could be, say, for charitable aims. Perhaps someone close to you, maybe a family member or a best friend who's something's happened where you decided to do something, say run a marathon for a particular charity. Now, having that personal motivational factor, because it's about something you care about, that someone close to you, that's going to be motivational. So it could be that by doing something for a particular reason, like for a charity, then that will increase your motivation. Setting clear goals and targets is going to be much more beneficial than just sort of say, oh, I'm going to do something at some point. So make those goals and targets realistic, achievable, but push yourself. Give yourself something that's going to push you, that's going to test you, and therefore the reward and the achievement is going to be even greater. Preparation and planning. For so many people who have been successful, they will talk about preparation and planning is absolutely key. Things will take time. You've got to be patient, but the more you can prepare properly and plan, the more likely the success, and therefore the more likely you are to be motivated towards that. Find out what works for you. Everybody's different. Everyone's got a different set of circumstances, different personalities, different situations, different factors involved. Work out what is going to be good for you, what's going to motivate you, who can help you, what can help you, how it can help you, and look at it from your point of view. Just because something works for someone else doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So work out who you are and what's going to work for you. Celebrate success, celebrate achievements, celebrate things you've done, praise yourself. So it might be, there's a big goal you're going for, and along the way recognise what you've done and give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a reward, celebrate that, and that will help to keep that motivation up for a much more sustained period. The next one is I've called Go to Fiji. I'm actually taking it from Bear Grylls' book called Survival Guide for Life, and it's basically an example where if you really, really, really want something, you will generally find a way of getting it. And this example was, let's say you've got loads and loads and loads of work going on. You've got lots of deadlines, lots of work, you've got so much, you're absolutely swamped with work, and you can't see how on earth you're going to be able to get this done. It's going to take weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. At the same time, someone's just offered you an all expenses paid holiday for you and your family to Fiji. 2 weeks, all expenses paid, most perfect, wonderful holiday you can imagine. Yet it's a once only offer, and it leaves in 2 weeks' time. Now you can't possibly go because you've got weeks and weeks and weeks of work to go, and you've got 2 weeks before this trip to Fiji. Now, the fact is, if you really want to go to Fiji, you will get that work done, and it's amazing what can be achieved and what can be done if you've got a real motivational factor. So everyone talks about, they're so busy, they've got so much to do, there's so many different things going on. If it's really important to you, you will find a way and you will do it. So if you're in that situation, just think, I need to go to Fiji, I'm going to get this stuff done, and I will get it done. And it's amazing what you will achieve. And finally, just quote, it always ends. Now, this actually comes from the British mountaineer Kenton Cole, who's climbed Everest, 12 times so far, I think it is, but you may have climbed it a few more times since. And it's really, he was asked the question, what does he think about when he's going on these very long, extremely challenging climbs for literally hours and hours and hours, 24, 36, 48 hours at a time, up and down these mountains, all those different conditions. And he just said the one thing he keeps reminding himself is it always ends. And I sort of heard him say that in his response, and it was, I get it, because actually everything always does end, and if you can just keep reminding yourself that it will end at some point. It might be painful, it might be difficult, it might be torture for a time, but time, if you can adjust that into your mindset and remember that it always ends, that can be hugely motivational, because particularly in a physical challenge, when things are tough, whether it's running a marathon or climbing a mountain, if you can remember it always ends, and at the end it will feel so much better, you'll be fine, you'll have everything you need. That sense of achievement, that pride, the memories, everything else that goes with it, it's more than worth it. So just remember it always ends, and just keep going. Hugely motivational. Part 2, achievement. So, what is achievement, and why is achievement important, and how can you be more successful and achieve more things in your life? So, Achievement is really something that you've done which is positive for you. You set yourself a particular challenge or goal, and it's worked out successfully, and that's fantastic for many different reasons. But from a human point of view, humans need a purpose and they need fulfillment. Getting that praise, getting that recognition, getting that sense of achievement is incredibly important. And actually, if you don't have that, if you don't get that on a fairly regular basis, then your life generally will feel incomplete. It won't feel satisfying. It can lead to lowering confidence, lowering self-esteem, lots of different negative emotional and mental health type issues. So actually doing things, achieving things, recognising that is incredibly important for your overall health. And it's a good thing to do. If you've done something good and you've achieved something, that is a great thing to do. And there's no reason why anyone can't do many different things where it's seen as an achievement. And your confidence will increase, your self-esteem, your attitudes, so many benefits from it. Okay, so why is achievement important? Many different reasons. First of all, your health. Physical, emotional, mental health. Humans need to have fulfillment. They need to have a purpose and need to have fulfillment. So achieving whatever things in all different ways is incredibly important for people to increase their confidence, their self-esteem, having that purpose, etc. So by doing different things, physical challenges, things at work, other skills, all different shapes and sizes, achievement is a great thing for your health. Confidence, it boosts your confidence, it increases that, and then that leads on to many other benefits in your life. Having that purpose and fulfillment, as we've mentioned, is really important. Getting respect, respecting yourself, having that self-worth, but also getting respect from other people can be, for a lot of people, a really important factor. Pride, satisfaction, feeling that sense of, I can be proud of myself for what I've done. I've put in the effort and I've got that reward. Being satisfied that you've done something, there's a reason why you've done something, how you've done it, and what's resulted. The strength that it has taken for you to do something, it builds more strength. It makes you a stronger person. And if you go for something and it hasn't worked out, actually your strength usually increases even more when things don't work out. So even when you perhaps haven't achieved what you wanted to, there's still a lot of positives that can be gained from that. Getting the praise and recognition from other people, it's great. Someone's saying, well done, that's brilliant, I'm proud of you, what an achievement, all of those different things. It might be that perhaps a bit embarrassed, but some humility there, but it's still nice to receive that. It could be there's a financial reward, particularly say in a work environment where you put in all that effort and you achieve these different things and you get a bonus or you get a promotion or you get a pay increase or something, and then obviously your financial reward, you're able then to use that in different ways to make you happier, hopefully. There's a impact directly on your brain and your body chemistry. When you achieve something, that feeling will release certain chemicals. Endorphins will be released. It might be that some adrenaline's released. Serotonin, dopamine levels increase, so that actually you feel a better place, and they can be elevated for a longer period, and you can then go and do more positive things which further increase that. I think a lot of it comes down to this simple equation where you put in the effort and you get a reward. That's fantastic. It's such a simple but beneficial equation where you sacrifice stuff, you put the effort in, the hard work, in whatever it might be, but you get that reward. Personally for you, and you feel much better for it. Also, you might inspire and motivate other people. Even better still, you are going to make a difference to somebody else's life and make them healthier and happier. So how do you go and achieve things or achieve more things? And it's very important to, if you're going to set goals, set them for the right reasons. Think about why you want to do something. Why are you doing it? What are those goals? Be clear about it. Make them achievable, realistic, etc. But make sure they're for the right reasons. Are you doing this because someone else wants you to do it? Are you doing this because you want to do it? Why do you want to do it? What are you hoping to get from this? So be really clear about what the goals are and having the right reasons for that. And then planning, preparing and commitment is so important. Take the time to get the right people, get the right tools, equipment, set out the timings, the timescales, the milestones, etc. Plan and prepare and then commit to it. If you've got those three key ingredients, the chances are you're going to be successful. Have the belief, the passion, and then enjoy it. The more you believe in it, the more passionate you are about something, the more likely you are to enjoy it. The more you're going to enjoy it, the more likely you're going to see it through and it's going to be a successful outcome. Getting the right people behind you, whether it's actually directly involved in the challenge, the project, the piece of work, or just having them there to help motivate, inspire, encourage, get you cups of tea, whatever it might be. Having the right people around you, really, really important. And if you don't have the right people around you, then look at ways you can get those people that are going to make a positive difference. There's always options. There's always ways you can find and generate the right circumstances for what you want to achieve. It might take longer, it might take more time, it might be more difficult, but there's always options there. Having the desire and determination, depending on what it is and for how long, the chances are you're going to need to have a high level of desire and then have that determination to see it through, because you're going to have ups and downs. Probably similar to life, you're going to get ups and downs, and quite often when you're not expecting them. So desire and determination, really important. Also, keep practicing. Practice, practice, practice. With so many of these things, in so many of these workshops, I reiterate the point, the more you practice, the easier it becomes, the better you become. Everything makes more sense, it becomes clearer, it becomes easier the more you practice. So understand, practice. Celebrate achievements and the steps on the way. So as you're going through, as I talked about before, recognise those milestones, recognise those achievements, recognise that you're on that journey and it's going to be successful, and celebrate that. And then look towards the end goal. Get the balance. Sometimes you have to wait before you start focusing on the end goal, but if you can visualise what the outcome is going to be in a positive way, it's going to be good, it's going to be great, all these things are going to happen to keep inspiring you and motivating you to reach that outcome. With enthusiasm, no one's got a particular right to be more or less enthusiastic, so just be as enthusiastic as you can. Have that positivity, optimism, etc. Be enthusiastic, it will make a huge difference. Courage, have the courage, and I guess alongside that the belief. So, things won't always go your way. You'll get setbacks, you'll get knockbacks, people will say stuff, people will do things, but have that courage to keep going, to pursue what it is. If you believe in it and you think it's right, and you planned and you prepared and everything else, and you believe that the outcome is right and for all the right reasons, then have that courage to keep pursuing it. Give extra. So there's that common term around how the difference between extraordinary and ordinary is just that little bit extra. And it does mean a lot in terms of just give it that little bit more. a little bit more than what perhaps someone else is going to do, a little bit more than you perhaps would have done normally. Just that little extra, and that can make a huge difference. Travel light. And this is both from a physical perspective and an emotional perspective. So physically, travel light. If it's a challenge, have the right equipment, obviously, but don't be weighted down by unnecessary equipment and stuff. But more importantly, from an emotional point of view, having the baggage, being weighed down by stuff that's happened in the past, other people, different events, different factors in a negative way that basically just pull you down and are a huge burden to you. You've got to get rid of them. The lighter you travel, the better. So get rid of all that baggage, all that negativity, and travel as light as possible. Sacrifices. You've got to be prepared to make sacrifices. You've got to be calculated in terms of what are you prepared to sacrifice in order to achieve the goal you want to. What are the expected outcomes? Is it worth it? But inevitably you're going to have to make sacrifice and be prepared for that. Integrity is really important to maintain your integrity. What are your values? What are your who are you and why are you doing this? And not doing something that doesn't sit comfortably with you, not doing something that you don't feel is right. Having your own integrity is really important. If you lose that, then actually everything else pretty much becomes pointless. So maintain your integrity. Train hard. A lot of the particularly in a sporting context, a lot of the champions, Olympic champions, world champions, successful people, they did. You see what they achieve on the track or in the ring or on the pitch, but all that success, that's just a tiny element. What you see out there, most of it is done, behind closed doors on the training fields. The training behind it. So the harder you train, the more you train, the more likely the success, which everyone else will see, and the final outcome will be there. And finally, remember it's your life. Do the things that are good for you and are right for you, and work out what that is. Spend some time thinking about what is it that you want to achieve. What is it and why you want to achieve that. What do you want to do? How are you going to do that? What are the reasons for it? And remember, it's your life. Yes, you need other people to help with that, and you want to inspire other people, but just never go away from the fact that it's your life, and what you want to achieve. Part 3, challenges. So we're going to look at what is a challenge, how to deal with setbacks and failures, some examples of successful failures, also human evolution and our capabilities, and then about challenging yourself. So challenges come in all different shapes and formats. It could be a challenge at work where you've got particular issues, you've got deadlines, you've got difficulties with bosses or people in your team, or all sorts of different things that could be going on in a workplace environment. That, of course, is really important because it's your career, it's your livelihood, it's your financial security, etc. It could be a challenge in your personal life, relationships. It could be trying to maintain a relationship, or it could be a challenge to the fact that you're going through a divorce or a breakup. It could be an illness or disease that you face personally or somebody close to you maybe going through. It could be a physical challenge that you've you've set yourself, by running a marathon or climbing a mountain. There's so many different types of challenges out there, physically, emotionally, mentally, in all different ways. So this is more about general challenges, and then a bit later on we'll talk about more specific physical challenges. So I just want to read a couple of quotes. The first one is, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but where he stands at times of challenge." And I think this is a great quote, but really important, in that you tend to find out a lot more about yourself when you challenge yourself, when you're put in those situations where things are challenging. And it's really important to learn about yourself in that context. So you will come up against many challenges that you don't want to come up against, that life will throw at you, and it's how you then deal with those. But if you then set yourself your own challenges and put yourself in positions where things are tough and difficult, etc., but ultimately you're looking for a successful outcome and an achievement, then again you're going to learn a lot about yourself, you're going to gain extra strength, and you're going to be better placed at dealing with those other challenges that come from life. There's another quote from Winston Churchill, which is, "Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm." Now, there's a big thing around success and failure, and what is success and what is failure. What is without doubt, everybody will fail at certain times of their lives at different things, and it's about how you deal with that failure, and how you react to it, and how you see it, and what you learn from it, what you gain from it. So in terms of challenges, good and bad, some are more difficult than others, but no matter what the outcome actually is, then you can gain something from it in a positive way. So if you ask pretty much any successful person or deemed successful, whether that's in business, financially successful, whether that's a musician, rock band, or a film star, basically anyone at all, they will always tell you that they have failed many times. You will not find anyone who is successful who hasn't said that they have failed many times, and that failure has been a good thing for them. It's been often the main reason why they then succeeded, by learning from that failure, by looking at what has happened, seeing who they are as a person, how they deal with that. In so many ways, failure is a great way of succeeding. So it's taking the positives from it, learning from it, and moving forward with that extra knowledge, that extra strength, that extra desire, determination, etc. So in any kind of challenge, whether it's something you set yourself or something that comes up against you, don't be afraid of failure, and if failure happens, use that as a positive thing going forward. In terms of success, then stay humble, learn, understand why you were successful, what are the positives of that, what were the factors, what were the reasons for that, and again keep learning from it, keep building upon it. And the more challenges you can set yourself, the better. The more things you do, whether it's failing or succeeding, the better, because ultimately you're going to get to a place where you've got more experience, more knowledge, and more, therefore, chance of success. Something else that I think could be beneficial to you, something that's worked very well for myself, is trying to find techniques that work where you're up against something really not pleasant, not good. So when you're being challenged with different things going on in your life, and it's not a good thing, how do you deal with it? How do you cope with that? And one of the techniques I've used that I think has been pretty successful is what I call the Rocky boxing technique. Now, I'll try and explain this, and it's really about the fact that life will always throw punches at you. Life will always come at you often when you least expect it, but you're never going to go through life without, you know, bad experiences, bad stuff happening, things that are going to you know, hit you, knock you, etc. And because that's inevitable, what's really important is to be able to defend that, to be able to absorb or take those punches, those hits, and be able to then keep going forward with life. So if you can imagine two boxers in a ring, and you're one of them, and life is the other boxer, and if you're in a situation where you feel like the other boxer is just hitting you and hitting you and hitting you, and no matter what you do, you cannot throw any punches yourself. You're basically just getting hit and hit and hit, and you know, a lot of people, myself included, have been in that situation where it feels like that. Nothing's going right. All these different things are happening, and you know, you don't really feel like you've got any way out. However, if you can develop a defence, a way of taking those hits without it really affecting you too much, then that will create an inner strength, that will create confidence, and after a while you'll realise actually those hits, yeah, they're unpleasant, but they are not actually really hurting you. So if you imagine, you know, in a boxing match and you're getting hit, if you've got a good defence, you know, head down, arms up, and basically just taking those punches, after a while you realise, yeah, uncomfortable, unpleasant, having to sort of, you know, defend them all the time and not be able to do much of your own thing, but actually they're not really doing that much damage, and you can take it, and actually if it keeps coming, I can keep taking it. But realising that at some point, you know, the opponent, they can't carry on like that, because they're going to get tired, they're going to get worn out. And there's the famous Rumble in the Jungle boxing match with George Foreman and Muhammad Ali. And without going into too much detail, it was Muhammad Ali making a comeback, George Foreman, the young champion, undefeated, has been knocking out everyone, you know, left, right and centre, easy, and nobody thought Ali really had a chance. And for quite a few rounds it looked like he didn't have much chance, in terms of he adopted a tactic, rope-a-dope. So the guy was basically on the ropes, letting George Foreman hit him, and his tactics were very much let George Foreman wear himself out. This guy was big and strong and powerful, knocking everyone out, but he hadn't gone many rounds because he didn't need to. So as long as Muhammad Ali was able to absorb those punches, take them, have a good defence, he was able to let George Foreman, so in this case, you know, actually his life, knock him, you know, wear himself out to the point where I think it was end of the 8th round where Muhammad Ali just managed to throw a few punches of himself and he knocked George Foreman out. Huge surprise, incredible win. But if you think about that from your own situation, if you're in that position where life's throwing all these punches at you, get yourself a good defence. If you've got a good defence and you can absorb those, then you realise that actually they don't hurt that much, you can take it, and at some point you'll get your chance to move forward, you'll get your chance to throw a few punches. And it's great having that feeling, knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you can deal with them, you can absorb those hits and keep moving forward. Successful failures, I think it's something like 14 publishers J.K. Rowling went to with Harry Potter before she got a publishing deal. So, you know, can you imagine yourself in a situation where you've written a book and you go, you know, to a publisher, rejection, and another rejection, another rejection, another rejection. Now it's kind of, you know, if you, how long do you keep going? I mean, I think it was Colonel Saunders of KFC. Apparently it was like over 1,000, maybe even 2,000 rejections he got before he finally got his KFC off the ground. There's so many stories of people who have been failures, who've been rejected, you know, things haven't worked out, yet they've gone on to huge success, and everyone focuses on success, but actually it's often that that failure that's made the most difference to everything. Walt Disney was told, I think he got sacked by a local newspaper, or was told that he wasn't creative enough, and look what happened. So loads and loads of examples, many of which are in the book. So if you're ever in that situation where things aren't going right, you haven't got the outcomes you wanted, you feel like life's throwing punches at you, you're feeling challenged, or you're on that journey and it's really, really tough, just think about why you're doing it, what the outcome is you want, what are the factors that are going to make that successful. Even if things don't work out, what you're going to learn from it, how is that going to help move forward, and basically how you can become more motivated to achieve more things. And the more you challenge yourself, the more you learn about yourself in order to then keep progressing. So just keep bearing all that in mind. There's also this quote: your body can stand almost anything, it's your mind you have to convince. And again, that's true from a physical point of view. Most people can do incredible things if they actually do it, and it might be that it takes time to train, to build up, etc. But human beings are naturally supposed to be very active. We are strong. We're great endurance athletes. I could talk for hours about human evolution in terms of our physical assets and how we evolved and developed. But from a physical point of view, you can pretty much do anything, and the fact that you don't have to anymore means that most people don't. But with the right training, with the right attitude, with the right advice, with the right timescales, you can pretty much do anything you want from a physical point of view. Part 4, I've called it CYM Challenges, and this is all about the CYM Challenges division of Climbing a Mountain, where we organise various trips and challenges for pretty much anyone to participate in, and that's both in the UK and overseas. People can also do their own events, activities, trips and challenges via us. But all of these events effectively raise money for CYM Health. So anyone taking part in a trip or challenge, or raising money, or doing a sponsored event, money raised from that goes to the CYM Health part. So you've got the element of it's brilliant for you, it's great fun, it's great for your health, it's great for your confidence, great experience, meet new people, go to new places, all these different benefits. But you're also helping to support CYM Health and these videos and the books and all the other advice and seminars and workshops, etc. So you're really helping many other people as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the UK trips and challenges first of all. So over the last few years we've done over 100, typically at weekends, trips across the UK. So places like Snowdon, Ben Nevis, Lake District, Scafell Pike and Helvellyn, North Devon Coast, South Welsh Coast, the Peak District. Then you've got Yorkshire Free Peaks Challenge, National Free Peaks Challenge, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of other different trips moving forward. So a typical weekend might be on the Saturday afternoon. We meet in a let's say Snowdonia, and we'll do a walk for 2 or 3 hours. Everyone meets up. We may provide transport, or people meet us there and go and do a fantastic, beautiful but fairly gentle walk for 2 or 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon. We'll go to a hotel, have an evening meal together, get up usually very early on the Sunday and go and either climb Snowdon or climb Tryfan or do a much longer mountain walk or hike. And a group typically between sort of 15 and 20 people, different abilities, so it may be we split the group up, we'll have at least a couple of different hiking leaders, and it's all relaxed, it's friendly, plenty of breaks, it's enjoyable, but it's also a great sense of achievement. Anyone who's still on top of a mountain, it's always a fantastic feeling. Usually the views are spectacular, it's fantastic, it's something different, it gets you away, so many different benefits to those trips and challenges. We do what I would describe as more challenging events ourselves and through other companies. So it might be a 100k walking challenge, Grand Union Canal. It could be our own National Three Peaks challenge under 24 hours. It could be the Welsh Three Peaks. It could be Yorkshire Three Peaks under 12 hours. Lots of different challenges you can do, and what you'll find is once you've done one, you'll want to do something, another one, another one, another one. So we get a lot of regular people coming back as well as new people, and it's just, as I say, fantastic, really beneficial for so many different reasons and at very, very low cost. And you've got the opportunity to raise sponsorship or get donations for these trips as well. In terms of overseas, you much bigger trips and challenges. So over the last few years, we've done quite a few. Kilimanjaro is probably our most popular trip, the world's highest freestanding mountain in Tanzania. So it's difficult, but it's amazing experience. But the way we do it means you've got the best possible chance of summit success. You've got the Inca Trail and Machu Picchu in Peru, one of the sort of 7 wonders of the world. It's a beautiful but quite challenging trek, 4-day trek to reach Machu Picchu, but a great experience. You've got Everest Base Camp in Nepal and also Kalapata, where you get much better views of Everest. Wonderful, amazing trip. You've got Mount Toubkal, which is the highest mountain in the Atlas Mountains in Morocco. You can do that both all year round, a summer trip and also a winter trip in the snow. You've got the Great Wall of China, again a fantastic trip, and there's also Vietnam cycle ride we've done before. But basically you can do anything. You've got 2 options. You either do the trips with us specifically, and we'll use specialist third-party companies, but it'll be a CYM group, anywhere between 8 and 20 people on those trips. Or you can do any trip, any challenge you want anywhere with any company, and we can recommend who we would use, but do it via the charity. So with these trips, because they're charity trips, there's the cost element and then there's the amount above cost that has to be raised. So let's say a typical trip, the costs are just over £2,000 and will last for a total of 3,500, which includes everything, and also training and kit advice and help with fundraising, etc. So amazing experiences, great for personal development, great as a personal achievement, but also helping to support CYM Health and CYM Challenges. And there's a lot more information on the different websites, on the Facebook pages, and there's lots of videos up there. So, obviously I would recommend doing some of these trips, and also telling friends and family and colleagues about them. So hopefully we'll see you on some of these trips and challenges in the future. I'd also recommend, going forward, reading the book, the Motivation, Achievement and Challenges book. get involved, go to the website, there's the newsletters, the Facebook pages, email, get in touch, and hopefully that's helped motivate you to challenge yourself, achieve more, whether that's with us or yourself, other people, work, person, etc. So good luck with all of that, and yeah, I'd love to hear from you if you do want to get in touch and do one of our challenges.